Success, connection, success. Greetings to you, brother.
Greetings, namaste, namaste,
Yeah, how you doing today, Mr. Jerome?
brother. Doing amazing, man. Doing amazing. It's great to have you here, man. I didn't know we'd have you here this soon.
I
This
did
soon.
not I did not know I would be here today. My presence was requested, and so I was like, yeah, I'd love to go on. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll be there. We have a saying in our collection, in our collective, our group of friends, it's to stay ready all stars. So we always stay ready for whatever. So they said, can I do it? And I was like, here I am.
You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh my goodness, man. I'm so glad that we had the opportunity right now. I was looking forward to it, of course, in the future, but I'm glad that we made it happen right now, today, in this moment. And brother, what's been looking up these days? What have you been enjoying during this time energetically, just in the air right now?
Well, it's Leo season, and I am a Leo sun sign. So my solar return was recently, and so I have been just really feeling empowered lately.
Mm.
My fire was lit from some circumstances and life experiences, and I had been struggling a bit with my emotions.
Mm.
Emotions had been really overwhelming me like previously, and so the fire was needed to kind of quell some of that water that might come along with those emotional feelings. So my fire's been really lit, and I've been really enjoying feeling passionate and alive and thrilled and excited. Sometimes those heavier emotions can kind of take away some of that drive a little bit, and so. That's number one, first and foremost. But our nonprofit just finished the 6 week course, and we had like 10 to 12 or 13 full 6 week commitments. So that
Wow.
was really exciting to see, and it made us really excited to continue to return. Having the people craving the knowledge and knowing that they were going to be returning to continue on the course and gain all the info.
Mhm.
Um, I recently got hired at Black Swan Yoga
Oh,
as
snap.
well. I'm a yoga instructor as well. So I got
Congrats.
hired at Black Swan Yoga and also at Mind Body Soul Yoga, right where we were doing the 6 week aligned and empowered course with BRC. So I have two really great opportunities there. I think they're both very prestigious and well known places, and I'm really excited to meet people, right? I want to make sure that I'm in places where I meet people that are going to help me learn things in the
Yeah.
spaces I'm in. And so I know that there's a lot of teachers in those spaces that I have not had access to their knowledge. And so I'm
Mhm.
really excited to just collaborate and build those relationships and just grow. So
Awesome.
those are
Awesome.
probably the two main things.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, lastly, really just the growth of our organization, the nonprofit organization that I'm associated with, and
Mhm.
that I helped to found with my friends. And it's really been seeing a lot of growth. We're in year 3 now, fully, and the first 2 years were a lot of growth and development and getting all the programs in place and the people and the team together to make sure we're successful. And now it's really taken off, and it's really cool to see all the success and witness all the growth of not only the organization but the people in their leadership roles and their volunteer roles, and just all the ways that people get to be impacted. And it's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful, man. Thank you for that. Just for sharing your victories, like thank you for sharing the achievements, the success. Like I feel victorious with you. I feel like I was on this journey with you, like I feel like we win,
I
like
mean,
I just feel like it's so triumphant, like it just feels like you've gone over so many hurdles, so many obstacles, so much adversity, so many challenges, but you grow through it when you go through it, and it's growing, it's the energy's flowing, and you know where you're going, you know? So this is awesome, man. Leo season. Do you need another reason? It's Leo season. So
light
I'm
it
I'm a
up,
Leo.
light it up.
Yeah, staying lit, staying lit. You know what you get. So I'm a Leo rising. Of course, my sun sign is a water sign, but my rising is fire. So I'm in that Leo energy as
Ah,
well.
okay.
And brother, when we met at the Mayan ceremony, there was a Maya ceremony. You know, I met you, I met Dev, I met Justin, I met Ryan, I met like different people from the BRC, the Breathe and Rise collective, you know, sharing the brighter perspective within the collective with an objective, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah, that's
know.
exactly right.
So I
Exactly
just
right.
really appreciated just being in your energy field there. I just saw the way that you interacted, the way that you maneuvered throughout the just throughout the masses, like throughout the crowd, the way you just navigated and you always made sure just even just being a good host, you know, being a great host, being a great guide. And I can definitely see you guiding and ushering people through their yoga experiences. So congrats, you know, congrats on getting that teacher role, getting that instructor role at the studios.
Pardon me while I relocate, man. My phone is cooking. I can see it cooking out there, man. And I was doing okay, but the phone was about to cook all the way. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that, and one also celebrating my Doves. You know, it's important that we celebrate each other. I think that's a Leo thing, man. Like, I feel like naturally we're very confident and inspired and passionate individuals. And sometimes that can be kind of misconstrued a little bit as like overconfidence or cockiness. Can you hear me?
For some reason, the sound is very muted.
Oh no. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, terrible. Is that better?
A little bit better, a little bit
A little
better.
bit better. We'll see how it goes. I was saying that oftentimes, as Leo energy is kind of misconstrued as cockiness or overconfidence, and it's just passion. You know, that fiery passion shows up, and there's like that passion and belief in succeed, and then like that inspired nature. And I think that we want to share that to everybody. I want you to feel as awesome as you can be. That way, you know, we can all shine bright together. And so try to communicate that in life, and then also just in my yoga teachings as well. And so yeah, I want to thank you for acknowledging that, and I think it's important that we acknowledge all of our small victories. You know, those things stack. They stack a lot, you know, and just the way our human mind is crafted, you know, we tend to emphasize the so-called negative experiences, right? Those things that don't feel so ideal or make us feel so good. And I feel like it's important to let the light in our lives like shine on all the good things and the dark things, you know, and the bad things alike, you know. And my sister, my soul sister, told me once that you have to practice unconditional gratitude, right? Like, I think my Leo energy, my Leo sun, unconditional love is easy. You know, I'm a father too, like, so I have children. Like, I know what unconditional love looks like and feels like and is.
Yeah.
Um, but that unconditional gratitude is tough, man. Like, being thankful for the things that don't feel so good when they occur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being thankful for those things that show up as well, and like knowing that that's something that you can gain wisdom from and experience from. And it doesn't have to be bad experience. It doesn't have to feel good, but it, you know, is still valuable. So
Right, right. And you said how many children you have?
I have three kids. I have three
Wow.
kids, a bonus son. You know, I got a son right here.
Oh,
You know,
snap.
shout out to all the dog and cat and fish moms, you
Three
know,
kids.
and dads.
Three three kids. So what are
Yeah.
their names?
And
Your
not
three children?
Nyla, Cadence, and Aaliyah. I have three daughters.
Wow, three
Yeah,
daughters, three
daughters,
girls.
daughters all day, man.
Not Nyla, you said
Cadence, yeah, Nyla, Cadence,
Cadence,
and
Aaliyah,
Aaliyah,
and
and Nyla, the
Nyla.
oldest. Yeah,
Nyla, Cadence, and Aaliyah. Beautiful names. Beautiful.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. So I can only imagine, you know, with them looking up to you, I mean, there's a lot on your shoulders, you know?
I think it's as parents and really just as responsible citizens to humanity. I think there's a lot on all of our shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's. I think that the world a lot has gotten away from the "it takes a village" mindset. I think there's a lot of this kid is mine, it's my responsibility, and it's all on me. But I think that, you know, we need some more uncles and aunties out here help shape these kids and give these kids like some ideal perspective. It's not, you know how it is, man. Like, you don't always want to listen to your mom or your dad, but that cool uncle or that cool homeboy, like, you might receive that a little bit differently because, you know, he's not that person. And so, yeah, I think it's important to maintain those relationships and just be a good role model to kids and, you know, like to make good choices, embody good qualities. I think I always said, like, it's our job as parents to teach our children how to be good human beings, right? Like, their teachers will teach them reading and arithmetic and all that, algebra and all that stuff. Like, that's what school is largely for. Like, or there's mentors, there's, what's the word I'm looking for? The dang tutors. You know, there's people who are well versed in that. And as parents, our job is to teach kids how to be good people. So, you know, good role models embody that, show good examples. And
Yeah. Thank you for that message. You know, it takes a village. It definitely, you know, I love that you bring that community, like we were saying back at the full moon drum circle, you know, community, bringing it together in unity. And, you know, speaking of darkness, you spoke about the light and the dark. You know, sometimes we have to make unconditional gratitude, like unconditional, you know, that relationship that we have in those dark times, those challenging times. Can you talk about one of those times in your life, you know, Brother Thomas, where you had to have unconditional gratitude through the darkness? Like, what was one of those times where it was tough, but you needed that in the moment?
I mean, I'm kind of currently going through that.
Okay.
I have a very tough, difficult family dynamic between the children of my mother and myself, and you know, there's just, without getting too personal about the story, there's just a lot there, and um, you know, it's not the most ideal situation to not be able to communicate with your kids regularly or get updates, and you know, to be kind of held hostage as a dad, even though you really want to be there, and you know, to not have any real understanding or like really like outlook for the future, what it's going to look like. And so, you know, just there's also though being thankful for this moment in that there are a lot of lessons here for me to gain wisdom in, like, how do I love people, right? How do I treat people? How do I show up? You know, I remember, you know, you ever heard the saying, like, you can't be mad on a jet ski? You ain't never seen nobody mad on a jet ski. I was mad on a jet ski. A couple years ago, I was on Canyon Lake, right? And so I'm on Canyon Lake and I'm riding around on this jet ski and I'm all in a bad mood because my kids aren't there and I haven't seen them and I've been denied the opportunity to see them again in the summertime. And I'm like, man, I wish my kids could come on this jet ski and these boats and have a good time. And then I thought about myself, like telling my own kid, like, I know you're not about to have a bad time out here on this jet ski. Like, to say, there's no possible way, like, you know. And so, you know, it's understanding, like, you can feel guilty or frustrated or sad or angry about something, and that's okay. You know, like, your feelings are great information on the things that you care about.
Right.
And so, you know, it's doing what you want to with that information. And another good friend of mine said they're really great informants. They're great passengers, but they're bad pilots. You know, so they're great to have on the journey with you because they give you a lot of information. But we are not our feelings. You know, we're not even really our choices.
Wow.
Those are just a compilation of, like, our consciousness and, like, our will and, like, and, you know, where we end up on the journey. But
Wow.
you know, everything happens to us for a reason. There's
Wow.
no good or bad. It just is.
Man,
You know?
this is wisdom. You know, this feels like wisdom coming straight from lived experience. You know, like when you're talking about, I mean, thank you for the reminder of, you know, good passengers but bad pilots. You know, I mean, good servants but bad masters. You know, like you don't want them to rule over you, but you know, they're there for information to inform, you know, to inform you, but you don't have to be taken, you don't have to let them take the wheel, you know. You can feel how you feel, but keep your hands on the wheel,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for real. So you
Yeah,
know,
man. Keep your hands on the wheel. I like that one. I like that one. Yeah. But
it
yeah,
makes a
that's
lot of sense.
exactly it. And there was a time in my life that was not the case, you know.
Okay.
And you know, those choices lead you to destruction,
I
you
see.
know. And so, you know, take some time and breathe, take some conscious breath, pass that
Mhm.
stuff through you. I think that a lot of what we do at Breathe and Rise is, and in yoga as a practice in general, is that it's just remembering things that we forgot, things that were
Mhm.
kind of taught out of us. I always am reminded, my kids became my greatest teachers. Let me let you know. I thought I knew a whole bunch of stuff, and I thought I was being the oldest sibling. I was going to teach my kids all these things and how to do things and how to be. And I came to discover, like, I didn't know much. Like, every time I got ready to teach them a lesson, it was things that I was watching them do and be like, ooh, I'm going to teach them. I'm going to recant this to them in a certain way later and, like, give them some game.
Mm.
But, you know, I came to this realization that everything that I thought that I knew to be true, or a lot of things I thought to knew to be true, weren't
Mhm.
actually like the only truth. And so I started entering this world of the thought, or with the thought that, like, I don't know anything.
Mhm.
Anything is possible because I
Right.
don't know anything. And this childlike wonderment, you know, it's like when a kid sees a rainbow and they're like, ooh, a rainbow. And you're like, yeah, a rainbow. You know, and it's like, where did our joy go? You know, where did like the happiness to be here disappear to? You
Right.
know, how did we get so polluted that we don't get excited about all the things that life has to offer us every day?
Mhm.
We wake up and we, you know, so going back to that childlike wonderment, it's also like childlike expression, right? So I allowed my kids to be my house growing up, not expressive, better not have no emotions, you know. That's you know, consequences follow those, you know, or go have those emotions somewhere where I don't have to experience them as your parent.
Wow.
I didn't want to be that parent, right? I wanted my kids to feel like they could express around me and
Mm.
there not really be consequences for that, because I wanted my kids to be able to communicate with me, right? I want them to be like, Dad, I can bring you anything, and no matter what, like, you're gonna be able to receive it and be what I like to call now a safe place to land. Um, but you know, the first thing that we do when our parents tell us, or when we as parents tell our kids to not do so, or to not do something, or do something they don't want to do, is, you know. So I think that breathing consciously is like that same energetic expression, like moving that thing through you. You got a feeling inside you. For me, it's road rage, man. I'm driving on the road, guy cuts me off, I'm like, and it's out, it's done, it's gone.
Mhm.
You know, so it's like we stick all these feelings and things inside us and don't let it out. So
Right. Man, it's awesome that you're able to do that for your children, that you're able to be that safe space to land, that safe place where they can land on, even in tough times and even in rough times and the times when we're not feeling enough times, you're able to be that safe space and that safe place for them to rest and for them to express the way they know best. So it's awesome, man, just to be that and to free that energy because there's a lot of trapped energy that we suppress and that we put down and we don't allow it to release, for more inner peace. So the stress seems to increase in our lives when we don't release in our lives like you do during the road, during the times where people are driving crazy out here. I've been on the road out here and I've seen people cut me off all the time and like you say, just let it out. The child that knows how to cry and knows how to laugh and knows how to just release, effortlessly, it seems like they naturally are able to do what it seems like adults and people who have matured in life have lost the ability or, let that ability flow by the wayside where children just naturally are able to get it off their chest, get it off your shoulders. But we start to lose that as we grow older. So when it comes to, breathing, Mr. Pranayama, who was Thomas Brown? Can you walk us through the evolution of Thomas Brown to now Mr. Pranayama? I'd love to hear, like, where were you years ago and how did you get here now? Like, what was the trajectory that got you to this point?
I mean, you know, that depends on really how far back do you want to go for the synchronicities to match up
Mhm.
to get us to today. I mean, it goes all the way back to 15 years old and making the choice to move to the hill country of Texas and meet up with my brother, Cat and Jay,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and to remain friends with him over all the years and end up here today and doing the things that I am. It was a lot of steps, a lot of missteps, a lot of falls and stumbles. But you know, like I said, I grew up in a house that was military family. A lot of the stereotypes that surround that existed, and a black family. So a lot of the stereotypes that are around that existed. And not only those things were felt, right? There were lots of the good and the bad things that people might associate with one's experience in those circumstances. But I say not the good or the bad, but the things that are enjoyable and less enjoyable, right? But you know, I didn't handle things very well for a long time. I didn't realize how much I was repressing, how much I responded to my environment, how much I was not aware of my own inner environment, this vessel and how it responded, and how my responses created responses, you know. And I discovered yoga. We opened Third Eye Healing in 2022.
Okay. So just recently, very recently.
Yeah, in the last 4 years, man. If you would have asked me a couple years ago, 3, 4 years ago, I just turned 39. If you measure that stuff that way, but if you would have asked me at 35, 33, like who was I going to end up being? Is not this guy, man. This is all like, this is way out. Again, I looked at the world and realized everything that I thought I knew was largely, not that it was untrue, it just didn't have to be the only truth. You know, like you know, things don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can be successful and also like off the grid. You can work a corporate job and also be happy. You know what I mean? Like, but those things, you don't have to work a corporate job to be happy. You know what I'm saying? And that was where the path I was. I was doing corporate work and family guy. You know, I was a family man. You know, so that's the life I was living, and I had given up things in order to appease the people around me. So I was very much a people pleaser and a yes man. I had no self-confidence and no self-worth, zero self-love. It was all like
Zero?
zero. It was all like fault. It was all based on flawed logic. And the things that I did love about myself, the people around me didn't celebrate. You know, and so you know, like loving crystals and like nature and like I know the bird calls of Texas. Like, so we're walking in the woods, I'll tell you that that's a goldfinch or like a wren or whatever, like a Carolina wren. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's that. And so, but like people would make fun of me. I was a band nerd, right? So like, which goes to another thing. I think that, well, along my healing journey, I have witnessed many different rituals and modalities. And one thing that I've discovered that remains constant is that the inner child, that wounded young person, shows up at some point in many, many of these experiences. And I think that we all abandon ourselves at a certain point to kind of fit into the mold of what society asks us to be. And not every single person does it, but I think that a lot of us kind of make some compromises on who we are and who we're destined to become, just to fit into the world and what the world expects us to be. And I think that many people don't even realize that there's other options for us than what's being presented to us. And that also a lot of this is brand new. In the last 50 years, you know, people don't realize like World War II was less than 100 years ago.
Wow.
You know, and like there was this whole industrial revolution and reform and electronic explosion and technological advancements, and all these things happened in the span of a generation and a half.
Yeah.
And they forget like the analog life,
Yeah.
the stick shift drivers and the alarm clock you gotta set, and you know what I mean, like there's this analog connection to the world that I think people have kind of disconnected from, and I myself was included. Like I wanted a cool car and a or not a business line, a credit line, and you know what I mean, like a credit score, and those things mattered. Oh, I want to go to college and get a degree because that's how you measure success, and not knowing like man, I really just want to live life and be a good human being and enjoy the things that I do, and I always wanted to serve people.
Mm.
Right? And that was why I was in the hospitality industry, and I was like a lifeguard, and like I was things that help people. And then, you know, now I'm a yoga instructor, and you know, my buddy taught me about some breath work, and we had some yoga classes in his CBD shop that ultimately turned into a holistic health and wellness lounge. And then I was like, man, I need more of this. Here I am.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I
You
need more
know?
of this. I need more of this. And you know, just being in the experience, like once you start to unlock
Mm.
like some of these, like it's really unplugging from the matrix. You know, once you unplug from the matrix a little bit and you're like, okay, like I don't have to, you don't have to disconnect. You can't disconnect from this world completely. Like I went through a period of that too, where I was just like, I don't care about none of this stuff. None of it's real. Time isn't real. Money's not real. Government, you know, I was like, okay, maybe you got to draw a line somewhere and ground yourself a little bit. But all that to say, like, once you unplug from this a little bit, you want to give it to others because you want them to experience that freedom from anxiety and from stress and like being able to turn yourself off. Like,
Right.
and we're not taught that. We're taught every moment must be spent doing something, even scheduling your sleep. You have to get this much sleep. You got to eat these many meals. You got to do these things and have, and it's like, man, like, when do you ever just take a breath, turn your brain off, and just let that shit fall off? Pardon my language, but let it go. And, you know, my dad joked in class, in yoga classes, that we're human beings, not human doings.
Mm. This is true.
But we're told it's wrong to be. We're told it's wrong to stop.
Right.
People always ask me how come I'm almost 40, but I look 30 or late 20s. It's because I stopped now.
Yeah.
One is genetics. I'm not gonna front. Like there is some genetics lottery winnings happening there, but also like I stopped, man. I don't count time.
Mm.
People count time. Like you got me messed up. I was like, dang, it's already the next year already. I still look and feel the same. Matter of fact, I feel better than I did last year.
Right. Right.
I'm waiting for my younger siblings to catch up to me. So
Yeah.
they can be like, wait, is that your younger brother?
The Benjamin Button path,
You know what I'm
Benjamin
saying?
Button, you're
But
going backwards.
it's one of
Yeah.
those things we're taught. We're taught these bodies live to be 80 and then we die. No. These bodies they recycle themselves over and over and over again to the point that after a certain period of time, you never have the same cells in your body for the most part. Like they're all like recycled over again, regenerated. This body is made to regenerate itself.
Mhm.
I saw you talking to that young lady about the not needing food to survive so much. And again, we're taught 3 square meals and eat snacks and all these calories. And it's like, man, I'm pretty sure like 1,000 years ago, these mofos were out here like gathering nuts and berries and eating that for the most part, and like boiling roots and shit and like eating some rabbits real quick in one time. You know what I mean? Like, and they made it. They made it. And people are like, well, like they only lived, their life expectancy was like 30. And I'm like, infant mortality rate, like hunter-gatherer life, like, yeah, they died early because they were like getting stomped on by mammoths and shit. Like, it's not the same, we're not using the same numbers here. And so, like, yeah, man, I feel like these bodies have the capability of regenerating over and over and over again. We just put so much in and we don't let stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, and then we turn to like medication and pharmaceuticals and the doctors that tell us what's wrong with us, and we're so reliant on these people that, you know, if you keep looking at like the updated information, like over and over again, we're shown that a lot of this stuff is speculation.
Mm.
And we get kind of more and more information, and then they're like, oh yeah, that stuff that we've been believing for the last 30 years is totally false. Actually, it causes osteoporosis when you drink this or eat that. And it's like, oh yeah. So, you know, I think people just rely on what the internet gives them, what the world is telling them, what their friends tell them, and they don't look up stuff for yourself. Find new information, find new ways, and don't take it from me. Find stuff that works for you. Look
Right.
at all, you know, I think there's a reason why they made all this stuff like voodoo bad, and you know, all this stuff is like weird juju or it's blasphemy, it goes against your religion. I think they want to keep you trapped in the mentality that you're in.
Wow. Wow. Thanks for speaking on the real, brother. You know, thanks for just really just being authentic, you know, and just really coming real with it, and not really beating around the bush about the things that have been so confusing for so many people throughout time and throughout history, and also just especially in this time right now where, like you said, we're evolving at such a rapid rate, at such a rapid pace, where we're not really understanding like just how fast things are really moving so quickly that it can be very overwhelming for people in this time. So, you know, everything that you say, Brother Thomas, is so relatable. You know, I have so many questions. I mean, first of all, I relate to you on the level of, you know, both of my parents are retired military. So they both served in the army as well. And, you know, coming up in that structured household, or just coming up in different households, you know, I, being an only child, I kind of had to, you know, situate myself in a certain way to be suited for expectations, you know, to greet the world and treat the world in such a way, because I was kind of raised in that way to expect certain things in life, and to direct certain things in life and connect certain things in life, where I became very rebellious because of that structure, you know? So, you know, honestly, it's very interesting when you talk about how your definition of success has evolved, where you might have been in the corporate world and thinking that you need, you know, this car or this material or this house or this place, and then you totally stepped out off grid into the, you know, out, you unplugged from the matrix, you pulled a Neo and you were Morpheus with the Oracle, and you over there and you took the red pill and you're like, okay, none of it is real, you know, just how do I feel? None of it is real. And then you step back into the matrix, so you dipped your toe back into the waters. What would you say, you know, at this point, Brother Thomas, is your definition of success today? Because everybody has a different one, for sure.
Well, you said it. You said the word already, my brother. You said authenticity.
Okay.
Authenticity is your best outfit.
Wow.
If you can show up and be yourself, whether it's your light side or your shadow self, and the world accepts you and knows who you are, and you're just, and like, how do you treat people? Like, legacy. What is your legacy? What? And that's not like, what did you leave behind? Legacy is you living legacy. What do people that are around you say about you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do they talk about you with respect? And are you an honorable person? Do you treat people with kindness? And, you know, or are you a dick?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, if you're a dick, then like, what's the point? You know, I don't know a better word to use, but you know, people that just are selfish in the ways that are not fulfilling,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I'm a little selfish, but it's because I need to fill my own cup. There ain't nothing wrong with that, you
Right.
know, because it becomes self-full. But you know, like, there's people that just do other people dirty and like make poor choices. But you know, ultimately, that's between them and God, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever their God or whatever their belief is. Like, that's between them. Like, my job is to just be the best me I can be, and that's what, again, that's what BRC is about. That's what we
Yeah.
did. Like, you know, we had a shop. We loved the environment. We loved sharing this knowledge and growing and learning and healing with people. And
Mm-hmm.
shit shut down, and we were like, we can't stop. Like, how do we keep this going?
Yeah.
And so we kept our tacos. We had tacos and breath work every Tuesday in the shop,
Wow.
right? We would drum out basically what
Taco
you,
Tuesday. Taco Tuesday.
yeah, Taco Tuesday. So we would get a bunch of tacos, show up at the shop, play some drums, breathe together. And we had like a pretty good following of people that continued to come every Tuesday. And it was early. It was like 8 o'clock, early in the daytime, you know, and people were consistently showing up in rush hour traffic on Petranco and 151. If you're familiar with that area, you know it's crazy,
Yeah.
uh, crazy traffic. And they were committed and dedicated, and they came. And so that was what we built our collective on, was that yeah, my favorite tacos too, uh, uh, Crystal. But yeah, that was what we took with us. And so we're like, all right, so we took our drumming and breathing and sound and just continued going. And we also had different events at the shop too, but you know, we saw, and the thing that I've learned is, it's not that when one door closes, another door opens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not what the saying to me is. The saying is, you got to close that door in order to open the next door. It's like an airlock. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't leave the door to space open to step into your room. You gotta compartmentalize it or decompress it, right? You gotta decompress the air around you, close that door off and seal it before you can move forward into whatever's next for you.
Okay.
So, you know,
That makes a lot of sense.
that was
Makes a
us.
lot of
That
sense.
door closed. It was the ending of a chapter, and it wasn't bittersweet. It was bitter. Like,
Mm.
real with you, like it was bitter. Like it sucked. We put our whole life into that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it changed. It's again that place is why I am who I am. Straight up.
Okay.
Like it was my sanctuary.
Man,
It was my sanctuary. It was my church,
that
and
was church.
I met people along the way. And it wasn't like religious, but it was church. God was fucking there. I
Mm.
promise you. Like over and over and over again. The synchronicities are beautiful, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, I to the point that I only have another story. How did I get here? I have one friend from high school and
Mhm.
school and all the schools. My whole life, I have one friend that I kick it with,
Mhm.
and he's the guy we started Breathe and Rise together with Mahal, with Jericho, right? So it's me and Justin, been friends for 23 years. And for the longest time, I used to wonder, like, why is this guy my friend? And it's to come on this part of the journey, like
Mm.
the healing part of this journey that I was destined for from a kid when I was looking at different crystals and rocks and was already infatuated with that from 8, 9 years old and into the zodiacs and all that stuff and was told it was stupid and girly and gay and whatever they used to call us in the 90s. Um, you know, and yeah, synchronicities, man. That 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 was it. But third eye healing grew us to what BRC was capable of becoming, and then we had to reformat, reorganize our leadership.
Mhm.
Once we got realigned and redefined, yeah, you did have your birthday there. I'm reading the comments too.
Oh,
Once we
oh,
defined that and realigned that to what it was, what it has become now, like it's just been, now we're on a rocket ship, man. Like
yeah.
and again, it's beautiful to watch one of our uh, our Patreon tiers for our membership is called Empowerment and Enlightenment.
Mhm.
I believe in that entirely. Like the people that step into our circle, they become empowered
Yeah.
because of like the gifts that we see in you. We're gonna find a way for you to be impactful in the community,
Mhm.
right? Because that's what we're all supposed to be. We're all supposed to have these roles in our lives where we step into our power.
Mhm.
Helps us to grow and it helps us to shine. And then also inside of those roles, there's usually some kind of obstacles and opportunities that are built into it to help us challenge ourselves to be more badass. And
Right.
that's what I believe in it at BRC. And I love that there's times when we'll be sitting in a meeting and someone will be like, well, should I do this or should I do that? And Jericho will be like, that's your choice. You decide.
Mm.
That's on you. I don't do that. And it's beautiful to be like, yes, it's your responsibility. Like you are the one that gets to choose. Is it going to be one vendor doing this or 7 volunteers or whatever the case may be? This is what we need. We need this many, and this is what it's going to look like. How you get to the end is on you. And
Right.
also, if you need some help, everybody got you.
Mhm.
Reach out. There's somebody that wants to help you too, or
Mhm.
somebody that knows the answer, how to get there, even if you don't. And
Yeah.
the beautiful thing is that, like you said, the community, that collaboration, that creates something even more badass. And the more people that you have, yeah, I'm talking about you too. Of course, Des hits it up. That's what I'm talking about too. Like I love seeing people like evolve into this new embodying, like this new embodiment. Like that's what it is. They're embodying somebody completely new, and it's that authentic version of you when you don't have to abandon yourself at the door,
Right.
right? You can walk in the door and be you. Then that's it. That's what I want to see. I want who you are right in my face.
Mm.
Maybe not like aggressively, but I at least want to know if you're in a bad mood. You ain't gotta sugarcoat that and hide it with me. If I know you're in a bad mood, cool. Now I know like maybe I don't have to be like the certain version of silly, but I'm gonna still like make you laugh though. You know what I mean? Like or at least I can hold that space. But I think, and for me personally, like my energy I don't want to say it's infectious, but that shit radiates, right? So if I'm in a bad mood, like, you gonna know, and I don't even gotta say nothing, and I don't mean for it to spread to you, but it's going to. Like, if you just give me a moment to like get past whatever it is I'm getting over, like, I'm gonna be cool eventually. But like, if you just don't take it personal, that it's not you, it's me going through what I'm going through. But I need to be here. Like, I need you also, brother, sister, friend, whoever, however that person is related. Like, I'm here because I need you, but I also need your grace too. You know. So.
Man, thank you for illustrating that, brother. And I love the intentionality in your words because, you know, like I read on BRC, it's like a mission statement almost. The frequency and the vibrational tonality of the words. You know, you said empowerment and enlightenment, and I also saw the words courage. I saw the word resilience, love, harmony. So empowerment and enlightenment, like these words, you know, somebody told me that if leadership is power, then true leadership is empowerment. You know, like leaders create leaders. So with you and Jerica, you know, what you're doing, like giving people the power, like power to the people. You know, leaders create leaders. Hey, you decide. Like, what's your choice? What's your decision? Like, you get in where you fit in. You know, like you tell us what you want to bring to the table. Like as a vendor, like what do you want to bring to the community? What do you want to bring to the village? You know, to the circle. Like what part do you want to pitch in? I love how you give people the option. You give people the choice to use their own voice, you know? So, man, it's awesome. Like with the intentionality that you use with language, because even earlier, you know, when you're talking about people who could be considerate or less considerate, you know, when you're talking about, you know, you reframed and rephrased good and bad times. You said, no, cancel that. You said enjoyable and less enjoyable. Right? I was like, oh, okay. So he's very conscious of his language. So when did you become so particular about the words that you speak because it speaks volumes?
Um, so let me first all those words you mentioned before. That I want to give credit where credit's due, and our president of BRC, Jerica, Jerica Love Reed, she has done a phenomenal job of building our brand and building what our community is representative of. All of those tiers and many of the ideas, the website, like just the web of destiny. There's so much. I can't even speak enough about how much she has done to build this organization. But also that also speaks to what you were saying earlier. You know, it was the three of us, myself, Justin, and Jerica. We were all sitting there, and we were figuring out how it's supposed to look, having our first ever board meeting, and so we're sitting there, and we're like, all right, so we got to start these bylaws. We got to have officers. We got to have all. So we're like, all right, well, who's the president? Who's the vice president? Who's what? And Jay and I both looked, and Jay was like, I already led my turn. Like, I'm good. Like, you know, and I looked at Jerica. I'm like, it's you, obviously, you know. And it's not that I couldn't have been the president. I just knew who the president was. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking around the room, and I knew I was a better support of that office than to embody that. And it's like you said, like good leaders know how to build leaders. I have led many things. I've been a trainer, I've been a manager, I've been a parent, like I led a household, like I've been the oldest sibling, I was in Boy Scouts, we did leadership all in there. I was in band, I was a section leader, like I've been the leader, I've done that before. And I've also been a follower, and I know how to follow. And I knew in that moment that by putting her in that position, that was what we needed. And that eventually, and she had grown into that person. That day, she was not the leader that I imagined her to be, right? But she has very much stepped into that role and outperformed and exceeded my expectations and grown in such a beautiful way. And so again, it's just beautiful watching everyone step into their power, right? It's that again, like you said, love and harmony. It starts there, love and harmony, knowing that we all love each other and we're working together to reach our ultimate goal that is bigger than us. And that courage and resilience, knowing that it's going to be difficult and challenging, right? It's going to be something that we haven't done before, or stuff that we've done before and failed at already, right? And the resilience to know that it's a long road. Except we're in year 3, but we've been working together for 4.5 years, you know, of business and figuring stuff out. And again, many failures, some success, just getting the experience. And then again, that empowerment and enlightenment. Once we step into the last step of now we got it. We're empowered to fulfill ourselves on this mission, you know, and that's it, man. And so going back to your other question is, when did I become more intentional with my words? Hanging out with Mahal, hanging out with her, and her attention to intention, and her desire for me to grow as a human being. And so her like, you know, she would encourage me to be more intentional or give me practices to be more intentional. But it really, my word selectiveness, I've always been like big on words. I was a big reader, a big writer when I was younger, in my youth, and so I have a really great grasp of the English language. And so I also, my mom is British, so like English to American English is like a lot of differences. And so like just English fascinates me because it is so simple, yet it is so complex. It is a stupid language. It is an ugly language. Like there's like so much more. Exactly, words are powerful. And so yeah, so I became way more intentional and conscientious about just aware of what I was speaking after my YTT, my yoga teacher training, a little over 2 years ago. I had a big shift during that time. I did an immersive 200-hour at Black Swan in San Antonio. So I did Monday through Friday, 8 to 6 for 4 weeks straight, with 1 week in between the split. So I had 2 weeks, a week off, and then 2 weeks. And so like just doing, and I mean, it wasn't like I stopped and I get off at 6 and I'd go do yoga for like 4 more hours. You know what I mean? So I was doing like 12 hours easily of yoga practice every day for a month. And then after that, I started teaching around 10 classes a week. And so like, I just slid right into the lifestyle, and, you know, I'm doing my best to never look back. You know, like it's okay to reflect back on the journey, but I think I've gotten to the point now that I don't even remember who I used to be anymore, man. Like when I talk to people, like when I talk to my partner Lindsay about like experiences and different things, like it'll be interesting to like start to feel those feelings come back in my body. You know, as you start to like reflect, you know, obviously like the memory and like the feelings happen, and so. It's interesting for me because those feelings are so unfamiliar now, or the experience, like I'll remember stuff and be like, oh yeah, like I did that thing where I was super tripping, or somebody else did that thing that I completely repressed, and it's just interesting like that. Those, like, it's such it's a totally different person, and it was only a couple years ago, and so
Man, man,
I'm really
you've come a long way.
dude. My
Yeah.
favorite quote from my man Captain J is, "We've only scratched the surface."
Yes.
You know, and so I'm really curious to see like it's only been a few months, brother. It's only been like 40, 50, 60 months max,
Yeah.
right? And that
Yeah.
many. And so like I'm very curious to see where the next 20 take me.
For sure. For
Like, what
sure.
does 20 months look like? 20 months ago, I was a totally different person. 6 months ago, different person. 1 year ago, totally different person. And it just, the evolution just keeps happening. And the more that I lean into it, the more it arrives. And I know, honestly, I know I'm limiting myself because I don't read enough books, and I don't do enough yoga. I don't do enough breath work. I don't be in the studio enough. But I know that this is a time for me to just reflect on those things, and like to just be in that cocooning stage of knowing that my moment will come when I'm supposed to step into this power and fully be ready, and just making sure I don't miss my opportunities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, they say opportunity, you know, it knocks, you know, like temptation is always leaning on the doorbell, you know, temptation is just ding
Yo.
dong, ding dong, ding dong. That's temptation. But opportunity comes by, and
Oh man.
right, that's opportunity. And if you're not
I
there to to open the door, it's on to the next house. It's
I've
on to
heard
the next.
that one. I haven't heard that one before, man. Yeah, Temptation do be leaning on a doorbell, man. Be like, "Hey, hello,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got a,
yeah.
I got a fresh mint and some pillows."
Man, so earlier, just a moment ago, you were about to go somewhere, and you kind of diverted. I wanted to hear what you were going to say about the English language in particular. You said that it's not only an ugly language, you were saying it's a stupid language, and I felt like you kind of know another language or maybe even another way of communicating that would be a lot better than American English. Could you talk about what is it that English has that is kind of like just not able to communicate the way that you feel it should? What are some of the flaws in the English language?
Well, like for instance, I know, like for instance, like Aramaic and Hebrew, right?
Hmm.
Language of the Bible, very complex language. Like different words for love and different words for different things that and but like one overall meaning of love, but there's like different types of love and there's different types of like of words for father or king or there's just like so much complexity there.
Yeah.
And like for instance, my brother Justin is not my biological brother, but
Right.
that is my brother. I ain't gonna call him nothing else. That's not my best friend. That's not my homie. That is my brother.
Right.
Okay. Period. That he more family to me than much family, and biologically, and that's not like a slight on any of my family. I love each and every one of you, all of you, so much. Even if I don't talk to you, I can think about y'all a lot. But that man been consistent forever. That's my brother, you
Hmm.
know. And there's a special kind of connection that I have,
Hmm.
and you know, um, it's just why isn't there another word for brother like that?
Hmm.
Where it doesn't have to get confused in the connotation. Why can't there be another word for that? Say I love you, but people get that like, oh, that's well, no, I human love you, girl. Like, calm down. I didn't mean it like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love all human beings so much. Like, relax. I didn't mean it like. But also, there is romantic love, and there's
Hmm.
I love my daughter, and I love my niece, or I love my, you know what I mean? Like, I love my land, whatever it is. Like, there's different like ways to speak about things, and
Hmm.
I just feel like, yeah, anybody who, like I said, who has English as a second language will agree that there's like lots of, and there's like too much simplicity. There's things that don't make sense, and that's why I say it's like it's not that it's stupid. It's just difficult. It's very
Yeah.
challenging, and the words like the conjugations there, and there, two, and two. It's like what? And then, but then we talk to people when they say, I'm going to get down off the car or get down from the car because they're speaking like Spanish, like, translation. And we tell them they're stupid, like, oh, well, you're dumb, not using it right. It's like, you're correct, but it still makes sense. Like, if you look at like the way their language is constructed, it's not like an incorrect way. It's just not like the correct English way we put it together. But most people don't speak English properly anyway.
Hmm.
So, and a little bit in my backstory, my dad's family was from the what they call the hood, of Temple, Texas, and there was always a certain association of the type of people that reside there, and so he got uh, an experience in that world that created the desire for him to not have us go through that, right? So that's why I speak the way that I speak with like largely proper enunciation. A lot of times I like to speak with my level of vernacular and slang, but like largely like I spoke very clearly, like enunciated, like spoke white, if you will, and I forgot where I was going with all that. Oh, I guess just understanding language. Like I spoke proper language because my dad wouldn't let me say fur. It was for. It was, you know what I mean? Like he would correct me on like grammatical mispronunciations and the smallest miss, and so like, or if I'd be like, I'm good, he'd be like, you're good, or my bad, he'd be like, yeah, you are bad. You know what I mean? Like like there was never like giving into the slang. So it was all proper English spoken in my life until I moved out of my dad's house, pretty much. And so, like, witnessing other people not have a grasp on the English language, but then be critical of other people who is their second or third language speaking English better, or at least on a par with them for the most part. And so, but also I think that's all planned, man. I think it's a lot of like the elite people that want to maintain like this level of power don't want people like us out here in the world. People that are open-minded and don't want to believe everything they read or see, and are questioning, you know,
Mhm.
that they're questioning everything they see, and they're called conspiracy theorists. But then we find out that they are poisoning, they are doing mental brain experiments, and they are doing psyops. And it's like, at what point are we just not going to realize, like, there are people that don't have our best interests at heart, and they are running a lot of the things that have a say in society?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. You know, I've been called a conspiracy theorist just for believing just for believing that the body is able to heal. Like just for believing that the body is able to do what it was always designed to do, which is regenerate. Like what we were talking about, regeneration, like revitalizing, you know, reinvigorating, regenerating, restoring, renewing, rebalancing, you know, just the rebirthing of the body in the cells of the body, you know, at a cellular and a cellular level. Just to believe that the body is capable of doing that, you're a conspiracy theorist. Like, no way the body can heal itself. No way you stop eating and you heal yourself. No way, you know?
But what
It,
is placebo then?
say again?
What is the placebo effect then?
There you
Right?
go.
Mind heals their body
There you go. You got it.
from
You,
within. Like cancer disappears because they were taking sugar pills and they thought it was whatever chemo or whatever they were taking to heal them. And like, I think there's a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza
mm-hmm.
that I heard some of his stuff. I got some of his books, and he talks about healing the body with the mind, and like changing the body, how the body and the mind, or the body and the brain, work against the mind, the conscious
Mm-hmm.
mind, right? There's this one book he has called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, where he talks about, the physical body and the physical brain, right? It's for instance, people that like smoke cigarettes, for instance, like your body releases certain chemicals during that time, during that process. It functions a certain way, and then one day you're like, I want to stop smoking. And so you make it like a week and you keep going, but your body has been in 20 years of, I need whatever that chemical release is, and that ritual of the thing happening in our body. And so it fights you. And that's why you have one slip and it goes back. But if you can make it that 30 or 60 days or whatever the number is, your body reconfigures, because now it doesn't have those chemicals in it anymore. It doesn't have that program that we've created for it, right? Our body is programmable,
Yes.
right? We're empty. We're literally T cells, right? Like they take T cells from like the fetuses or whatever, right? Like that's how they created like that stem cells treatment. But we're T cells. When we sleep, T cells get released in our body and restore our body, But we don't want to talk about like holistic health. People just get told, I go to a doctor because they understand, but they might have studied the symptoms and the causes, but they don't tell you about nutrition.
No.
I've gone to the doctor and I'd be like, okay, well, you have this. And I'm like, well, where did that come from? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, was it like, is it this lifestyle? Was it because I was doing drugs, or was it because I was doing whatever delinquencies? And they're like, nope. I'm like, and actually what he said was, as much as I would love to tell you yes, I'm not going to tell you that the thing you have going on with you right now is from any of your lifestyle choices as a 22 or 23-year-old man. He's like, but it was, right? It was like me living on the edge and like putting my body on the edge of disaster every day, and, doing whatever as a young man and partying and not making good choices at all, not taking care of his temple for sure. Um,
What does that even mean? As much as I would love to tell you,
well, because I
like,
asked him specifically at the time I was smoking Black and Milds heavy. I was like, man, I smoke like a pack of Black and Milds a day. Is it because I smoke a lot of Black and Milds? And he was like, nah, man. He's like, as much as I would love to tell you it's from smoking, it's not from smoking. It's not from drinking and partying. Like, he's like, it's not explainable. He's like, there's nothing I can like determine as far as the origin of it.
you know, it's like those scenarios where like there's a movie where, you know, somebody's at a party or somebody's in a scenario where they're in danger, you know, like they can't say anything to communicate that they're in danger, and somebody asked them, hey, like blink twice if you're in, like, like blink if if you're in a situation where you can't speak or you can't say anything, like give me an indication that you have that information. So when you're in a situation with this guidance or this doctor who's had all this medical knowledge, in full disclosure, my mother's a doctor. My mother's a doctor as well, so she's been in the medical field 27 years. So her being an obstetrician gynecologist, delivering hundreds and hundreds of babies, doing all sorts of surgeries, and knowing all sorts of stuff about the body, and like you said, the symptoms and different things, she still, they never taught her about nutrition. She doesn't know about nutrition. She doesn't know about, the diet and the lifestyle. Like, she's living like, pretty much a lot of the people in society, and she's on the same medications. She's got the same inflammation. She's got the same constipation. So it's the same situation. So when you're in a situation with a doctor and they're telling you, like, as much as I'd love to tell you, I just find that interesting. Like, I would love to say yes, but I can't,
He,
like,
he was basically saying, I wish I could get you off of this lifestyle,
right.
but and tell you like, yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that. But to me, as I look back and I know about energy stuff, it was throat things, right? It was my
Right.
throat issue. It was internal things. It wasn't like a virus or something. My body was doing it on its own. And so, like, the way I see it is my body stored up something that I had experienced, and that was the way it expressed it because I didn't release it, right? And I think that's where a lot of people that get autoimmune disease comes from, like things. And obviously, like, this is not founded in any science or anything except just my own conspiracies, right? My own, I'm no expert, okay? But I think things like MS are things that, like, are unexplainable. Where does it come from? But, oh, hey, thumbs up. Like, it's unexplainable where it came from, but also it's there. It's not really treatable, but it's diagnosable. Maybe that's internal harboring of energy. Maybe it's something, some kind of trauma that we're not expressing in certain ways that our body then is giving us the symptom of the somatic experience, right? Because we're all somatic beings. We experience we perceive our world through our senses, right? Our sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing primarily, right? And so whenever we absorb something through those senses, especially if it's a multiple senses, right? Imagine if it's like someone you like being around who was tickling you. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to create like sensations in the body. You're going to laugh. You're going to fidget. You know what I mean? Like, if someone scares you, you're going to go, woo! Like, or jump or whatever. Ah, shit, whatever. But as we go through life, I think a lot of times we're kind of made to suppress a lot of that stuff. And so I think a lot of that dis-ease comes from those experiences where we don't process the things, where we take on things that are not ours to take on.
Yeah.
There's just there's a lot there that we just don't understand. It's not measurable. And I think, again, like, we have this very rapid progression and then humanitarian ego of this idea that we're the most advanced we've ever been in the history of society.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's only been 50, 60 years, bro.
Mm.
Like, what about the previous 100,000 years of humanity's existence
Yeah.
on whatever levels? Like, what about 5,000 years ago in Kemet? You're not going to tell me we're more advanced than the people that built the pyramids. Like, you're not. Sorry, can't believe it, because they're still standing. But if you turn your back on a building in a city for 10 years, the freaking earth will reclaim it. But them pyramids ain't going nowhere.
No, they're there. They're still there. So, man, like, when you're talking about black and milds, when you're talking about, having these habits and, these habitual rituals that we adopt, everyone has their vices. I've definitely had my vices as well. So going from, smoking, like, how many did you said you like, how much a day did you used to?
Bro, I was a pack a day smoker in cigarettes before I switched to black and milds, because I couldn't smoke black and milds as fast as cigarettes. I was like,
Okay, so you made the switch because you couldn't smoke them as fast. Okay, to slow. So you made the switch actually to slow it down.
Yeah. Instead of quitting, I was like, yeah, I just need to chill a little bit, you know. But
So
you
let
know,
me have something that will last so I don't go so fast.
faulty logic,
Wow.
faulty
So
logic.
so brother, with going from that, to now Mr. Pranayama, the last thing I would love to ask is how has breath work, because you gave us, you and Justin and Tebow and Jerica, like y'all gave us a powerful breathwork session. I mean, this was like super powerful over the full moon drum circle that we had back at the Nourishing Collective. That was a powerful breathwork session that I needed. I don't know about everybody else in the room. I know people got what they needed, but I definitely got what I needed out of that session. So, how do you feel like breathwork has ultimately impacted your life?
I mean, I go back to the first time I did breath work. It was in the first, because we had two locations in the Third Eye Healing shop. And so we're in the first shop, sitting there with Captain Jay, and we're doing like some Kundalini stuff. We went up the chakras, right? So all these like all these different weird movements, right? And we got to the end of it, we did a breath hold, and I burst into tears.
Mm.
The very first time. And I had this realization. The reason why is because I had this realization that I've been looking for peace my whole life, and it was inside of me. I was like, dang, all I had to do was breathe, and it was right there. And that was the day when he told me we were only scratching the surface, right? Same day that he said we're only scratching the surface. And that was, I guess, 4.5 years ago almost now. But in that moment, like I knew that there was something there for me. And breath work has given me peace. It's given me understanding. It's given me clarity. It's giving me life. It's breath. It's literally breathing. Like I tell people all the time in class, like you think you need water to survive, or you think you need food to survive. You need breath. If you cut off your air, you die real quick. All right. So so breath. You're literally. I heard KRS-One say the other day. You're literally breathing consciousness, because the first thing that goes is you lose consciousness. So you're breathing consciousness. So consciously breathe your consciousness when you breathe in it. Okay. So the drums help. The drums help to lock you into a rhythm, right? So you get that rhythm going, and it hijacks your nervous system, right? It hijacks that fight or flight. When you start doing that, that's what your body does when you get ready to fight or run or engage a threat, right? And so we hijack our central nervous system, and then we go into the breath retention, and we turn off our central nervous system, right? We're not to turn it off, but we turn off that fight or flight and go into that rest or digest state, right? And once we enter that state, now we have peace, we have stillness, and we can take the things off that have attached themselves to us. And so what it's given me is that I couldn't meditate before. I make malas, these meditation beads, and I was making those in order to count the beads so I could do meditation mantras and like try to like meditate, and like I couldn't stop I could not stop my brain. You see how I tumble everywhere right now. Like my brain does not turn off, or it didn't before. But breath work took me to that place of meditative state, right? If you breathe like that, you will start meditating, because you're going to start disconnecting from everything except the breath. And the next thing you know, you're going to forget that you have a body. And then you're going to be like, oh shit, I do have a body. Oh dang, like this is crazy. So like, you know, breath work gets you high. All right. Breath work is a legal, healthy way to get blasted if you want to get high. Breath work is a great way to regulate your nervous system. If you're having issues with anxiety or stress or things of that nature, there's a breath work for you that will help you with that. Breath work is a great way to activate your body. Doing shining skull breath or breath of fire is a great way to activate your what's it called? Your digestive system, and to build energy to to start your day. There's breath work for everything. There's tantric breath if you want to connect with your partner romantically and on a deeper spiritual level. There's tantric breath that can unify harmonize your energies. Like breath work is for everything, man. If we take more, when I first started teaching breath, I would stop people and be like, "When was the last time you went?" And most people don't. They're like, "I don't know." I'm like, exactly. let's do 20.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
20 and see how you feel, man. You know,
Yeah.
so
How
like
about it? How about it? I
I
love it.
I we use the word empower at BRC. I empower you if you're watching this live to go and ask Google or ChatGPT or whatever you use to gain information. Look up what are the benefits of breath work in the body. Look up Wim Hof, the Iceman. Look up Pranayama is what it's called in yoga. It's one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Yoga is not just moving your body in weird shapes and laying down on the floor in a yoga studio and looking fit or cool or whatever. Like yoga is a whole entire lifestyle. It's got philosophies and principles and like different practices and modalities. And the most beautiful thing about yoga is it is not a religious practice. It is a practice of deepening your understanding with yourself. And if you believe what I believe as far as Christianity and that God is concerned, God created you in what he said is his image or their image, right? And so that means you also are a God. You have the divine being within. That is what Jesus came to teach us, that the divine lives within us all. He is not the only perfect human. We are all perfect humans. God said that too in the Bible. I created you perfectly, right? That's what the Christians believe, and then why they hate on the trans people and all those gays and stuff like that, because they're thinking that those people are imperfectly made or think they're imperfect or whatever the case may be. So God made you perfectly. God made you a God. You are the creator of your own reality. Like man, again, we could talk, there's so much, we could go on so many deep dives, and again, it's all stuff I didn't believe a couple years ago. I believed that you had to do things the way that good old Americans say, and that I was going to be locked into a corporate job forever until I got out of retirement and I would be old and die at 70. Now I'm going to be at least 100. I'm shooting for at least 100. 100's like going to be young to me, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so many people are chasing like what you call the American dream, you know. The American dream is what they call it. And just thank you, brother, just for that beautiful breakdown of breath, you know, and how breath work can break through, you know, so many barriers of belief, and we can find so much relief, and we can have that release and increasing that peace, you know, when you're talking about the first time that you did breath work in earnest, you know, intentionally, really just deeply inhaling and fully exhaling, and how, you know, Justin was like, hey, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is just scratching the surface. And you're just, I mean, you start shedding tears because, you know, all of your fears and everything, all of the trauma, like the things that we buried, they start to appear, you know, and you realize like you've gone through a lot, but you are still here, you know? So I love this because, I mean, the breath is a key, and the door that it opens is peace. And when I mean, the inhalation and the exhalation is all we have. When you see people around people in hospice care, or people on their sick bed, or people on their deathbed, you know, with the family gathering around the grandma or the great grandma, like, you always hear that we were with them until their very last breath, you know? Like we stayed with her until
until the
her last
consciousness,
breath.
until the consciousness left the body.
Right.
Right, until the
Right.
vessel was no longer inhabited. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, man, you hit that's I couldn't say it any better. It's the door that it opens is peace. It's inner peace, and like the way the world is programmed today, there is no inner peace. There's constant movement. The
Mhm.
world, the world, the world thinks we've evolved or tells us we've evolved, but I like to say like our body doesn't know the difference between a car and a tiger. It just sees danger,
Mhm.
right? So like we're driving in our car, looking at a herd of stampeding buffalo, and we don't think our body is having a response to it. I put a Fitbit on my arm and driving my car in traffic, and my resting blood or my resting heart rate was 120 or something crazy. I was like, yo.
Oh,
And this
oh,
is someone who normally is 50, 60, and I'm like, yo, my heart rate is double right now, just bumper to bumper traffic. That's crazy. And like, there's so much we're not aware of it within our own body. Like, our body is telling us, your body, your body is telling you that there's stuff going on with it way before it shows up on the outward side of it, right? And you got to learn how to read your body. You got to learn how to listen to your body, and the breath work will do that for you. The breath work will take you on a journey inside,
Yeah.
where you'll discover where am I hurting, where do I feel good. Oh, what is that? Why is my foot asleep?
Yeah.
I was just laying down breathing, and my whole leg fell asleep. What does that mean? And so like there's some weird stuff that happens on the other side of breath, and it truly does open a door to a different place inside you. Um, I want to take a moment to shamelessly. I have no shame in plugging our organization. Go to breatheandrise.org, or go to our Instagram, Breathe and Rise Collective, or Breathe and Rise TX, I think it is. Breathe and Rise TX now. So go to Breathe and Rise TX, become a member.
Yeah.
Join our Patreon. It's free to sign up. We have memberships that range from $3, $5, $10, $20. Each one of them has benefits. Use my code, Tommy, if you sign up. You'll get a discount. But also, again, it's free membership. We just want to connect with you. We want to help you to plug into yourself, right? We want to plant the seeds for you to be able to sprout your own roots, right? To grow, to water, and we will help you water it. And then once you start growing, then it's up to you to take it to the next level. But I love that there's a little bit of something for everyone. It's not just breathing. We have a fashion show. We have an awards show coming up. We're doing the voting right now for our awards show. In October, we have a market back at the Nourish Healing Collective, the Change Yourself, Change the World market, right? It's all ages welcome. We're gonna have a bouncy house in the parking lot, like it's a dunk tank. Like we do fun stuff. We had a kids event the other day where we ran an obstacle course, a ninja warrior obstacle course with a bunch of kids, and then flew kites on a hill in Pearsall Park, And these kids never flew a kite before. And me getting to unlock my inner child, I'm like, yeah, Breathe and Rise TX. I'm like, hey kids, like here's how you make it go all the way as long as possible. So now the grown-ups are trying to, how come their kites are so far out? And I'm like, ha ha ha, so yeah, give us a follow. If you're just looking for some community, if you're a person who doesn't have a lot of friends, I don't have a lot of friends. You'll come to one of our events and you'll meet all my friends pretty much. I have a gang of acquaintances. It's not that I'm not friendly. I just don't keep a big circle. But part of that too is like I had to abandon myself a long time ago, and then I had one of my friends at Third Eye Healing told me, what did she say? The real people, the people for you, will accept you exactly like you are. And that was when we went into the whole like authenticity is your best outfit, and like I don't care which you walks in the door, the light or the shadow, but just be you. I'm gonna treat you the same. I'm gonna love you when you walk in that door, whether you're having a hard day or an awesome one, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Man, thank
if
you.
you're looking for community, if you're looking for love, if you're looking for a place for your kids to join in, if you're a man, especially like something that's really dear to my heart, if you're a man and you feel like you're out here alone, if you are going through depression, suicide, if you're going through stuff like parental issues, like as far as like custodial things, if you're struggling, dude, if you're not a struggling man, if you got all your stuff together, you just want to explore the depths of what divine masculinity looks like, join our men's group. That's really near and dear to my heart. I looked around and I was like, there's no men's circles. All these sisterhood circles out here where women are helping each other grow and lifting each other up and teaching each other stuff and like emotionally deepening connections and learning how to be like emotionally intelligent together and accountable and all these things. There were no men's circles, so we are creating one here. So that's something that you're interested in. Join our men's group. Uh, like I said, there's multiple opportunities to join, to serve, to reach out if you want to volunteer your time. If you're a business owner and you want to vend at our events, hit us up. We love highlighting small businesses. We started out small businesses. We still run our own small businesses. And we love to promote small business. That's when people grow, then we get to also celebrate. Again, we get to celebrate those victories together when people get to have those experiences. It's my favorite shit ever when people are like, yo, I sold out or whatever, or like so-and-so brought my earrings and they loved them and then they wore them another day. And I'm like, fuck yeah, they did because your shit is badass, man. Of course they did. But like people don't get that experience all the time. We talk about one of my favorite lines Sheriff says, core memory moments. If you want to come and have core memory moments, come hang out with us, man. That's all we do. We have moments in our lives that are dope, and you got to experience one the other day. And my favorite part is when Jay stood up and go, yo, where you at, moon? And starts howling. The rest of us start howling at the moon. Then we're all dancing on the tables. You know what I mean? Like, we get to just be free. And how often you get to just be free?
Yeah. 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 It
Well,
felt like I was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was like water benders, air benders, like everybody was moving, you know, we were all grooving and just improving together, you know. I love that, you know, they say if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together, you know, go together. And it really, you are the embodiment of that when you're talking about, you know, the Breathe and Rise collective. Like that is the perspective for sure. So I'm a member, you know, I'm already a member. I signed up, you know, the first day I met you, you know, the first day I met you, you gave me your code. I signed up right then and there. And, you know, we're here. Now we're here. So I'm glad that I signed up because it set me up for so many opportunities that I didn't even know were out there, right there in the heart of San Antonio. You know, I've been in San Antonio for so long, I've been around these parts, but I never knew that this kind of conscious community was nourishing and flourishing and encouraging, like right under my nose. You know, like they say that it's right under your nose, just like the breath. You know, it's right under your nose. So thank you so much for plugging that. You know, thank you so much. We received that. We need that, and this is the feedback, you know. Yeah.
thank you, man. Like, you know, it goes back to, like I said earlier, a word I use is legacy,
Yeah.
right? And legacy to me is what are you leaving behind,
Mm.
right? And I think that in a lot of ways, men and masculine energy does concern itself with what is my legacy. That is an important. There's importance in what that answer is to a lot of men, I think, and a lot of people, but definitely I know in men. You see it throughout history, right? What is the legacy of a man? And for a long time, I wondered what that was going to be,
Mm.
and but now I know. You know what I mean? I do it every day, and
Right.
it's beautiful that the legacy I get to build is with the people that I love the most and that I'm the closest with and that I've healed with together. You know, and I love getting on the mat with my friends and just doing the work and just witnessing everyone else's growth. And it gives me the desire to do more. Like when I see people doing more, I'm like, I got to level up too, man. And it's not like a competition. Oh, they're going to catch me or nothing. It's just like, oh, yeah, like I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do.
Mm.
Not what I'm supposed to do. That's not the right way to say
It's
it.
like Vegeta would get hyped when he seen Goku transcend, you know?
Exactly.
Like when Goku would transcend to another Super Saiyan level, he's going Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta's like, I could do it too. You know?
Yeah, I got to because it's there,
Yeah.
you know. And honestly, that's me and Captain J. He Goku, I'm Vegeta like a motherfucker, dog. That's really real. That's really real. Like he keeps leveling up, dog, and I keep looking at my man's, and I'm like, cool. And you know, the most beautiful thing about our relationship is every time he levels up, he don't just look, he don't just take the high right road and keep going. He look back and he goes, hold on, let me get my brother and take him with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's what we embody at Breathe and Rise. We're not going to leave nobody behind. You know, we have like a slogan. We have slogans in our mottos. You know, we have that elevate your essence.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing we live by. The other one is we ride and rise. You know, people used to say we ride or die together. No, we ride and rise together, man. Like we on the mission, man. So um, yeah, we'd love for people to come and just associate with us. And again, like it's not just about you being able to come to our community and learn from us, right? It is a two-way street. Like just like I said earlier, like I thought I was going to learn so much from my children, and then they ended up teaching me so much. All the people that I meet along the spiritual journey offer something. It's not just like a one-sided exchange where I'm teaching you all about breath work and I'm some kind of guru that knows everything. I'm just a man. Just a man doing a thing and like trying to make it too, you know, and just doing my best. And here we are. And a lot of times people have so much to offer me and they don't even realize it. And I'm just so grateful for every each and every person I get to interact with along the journey. And so,
Likewise, likewise. I'm grateful for you, brother. Thank you for coming on here. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for the message. Thank you for the mindfulness. Thank you for the meaningfulness, and just thank you for helping us remember. You know, these were wonderful reminders today that I needed to hear. I know that a lot of other people in here needed to hear. And man, this is it. This is the way. This is the way. So
yeah,
blessings, brother.
yeah, blessings to you, man. Thank you for having me on. Um, I love you too. I love all my Gemini brothers and sisters, especially y'all the most. Um, I just want to say thank you for having me on to talk about the things that are important to me, to let me open up and just be more out there. I feel like life has kind of kicked me a little bit and caused me to close off, and I don't really find myself being so open all the time. And so it was a great surprise to have this opportunity today. Thank you for letting me plug Breathe and Rise and just share all about what that is. And yeah, give us a follow. We'd love to have you join us on your journey, or just kick it with us and come and see what we do. Um, and lastly, I just want to shout out all of the people in Breathe and Rise, the free members who have signed up, the invested members who make this thing go, all the volunteers that show up each and every time to just donate your time and services, our entire admin team and staff, all the people that meet on with us every Tuesday and doing all the things that make Breathe and Rise amazing, for my brother and my sister for starting this organization and for just continuing to hold and support me on this journey. Love each and every one of you, all of y'all humans. Thank you for tuning in. Like Des said, hit us up. We love y'all.
Right. All right. Take care, brother. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, peace, man. Before you go, you want to take a breath together, man? One or two? You about that life?
We here. We here.
All right,
Let's do
all
it.
right. Let's
Go ahead. Walk us through
do it
it.
all. All right, we just exhale all the air we're holding. A deep breath in through the nose. And a big sigh. You're still alive. Follow along with us into the nose. Breathing into the belly first and the heart space. And a big sigh. Exhale it out. And one more time. Inhale as much love and healing and harmony into your body as you can. And let it all go. Thank you again for taking some breaths, for just being present, for being the best you can be. Again, I'd like to leave you with, always allow the light in your life to illuminate all the progress that you're making. Until next time, friends.
Peace. Peace.